In this week's episode, Ashton and Orym get some new looks, Lordna gets a nasty surprise, and Bells Hell's party in Zephyr.
You could spy on Big D.
No, I don't think she's ever seen Big D, has she?
She's
Oh,
seen
she
it.
didn't say that!
I was waiting for it.
Oh my god, are we like
Something.
you're like calling your ex or so?
Oh my god.
Ready.
What if you squat and you just see Chetney's wolf dick?
Hello everyone, my name is Luna and I'm here to break down everything that happens in Critical Role, including all the lore and references you may have missed, so if that sounds like your jam, make sure you subscribe. YouTube tells me that the majority of you who watch these videos are not subscribed, and doing so really does help tell like the YouTube robots that all the time that I put into them is like valuable, so thank you. The episode got a little bit of a slow start. It seems like they might have had a long break between recordings and kind of forgot where they were up to and like what the plan was, but eventually they decided to spend some recreational time in Zephyr, which I was very glad for because honestly they need some downtime. It was nice to just kind of have some like very silly shenanigans.
Bounce away!
They split off for some various activities. First, Ashton heads off towards Fanny Z's to pick up their new outfit. But before that, they have a panic attack.
Sit for a minute in the throes of this panic attack, just hearing the sound of, laughter and cheers and music kind of echoing in the distance in the main center of the town. You sit there kind of staring at the ground and you can see the bits of stone and shale that just have come to rest in this little alcove on the side of the city main street. And as you feel the waves of anxiety come through, and you can feel and hear the beat of your heart in your ears, you swear you see the stones kind of almost shift in the ground as you do.
Ashton has had a lot of new info all at once, so I think this reaction makes a lot of sense. The impression I get of Ashton is that he has spent a lot of time believing himself to be worthless and unlovable and like nothing special, and then to have sort of all this information dumped on him that, he is in fact very special and connected to something existentially huge and old and ancient. Like, that's a lot to take in. I hope that they will open up with the group about their feelings to get some support, because it seems like a lot to just like carry on your own. Eventually, the panic attack subsides and Ashton gets to Fanny Z's to pick up their outfit, and we get some new character art. I absolutely love this new character design, especially the new hammer and like the blue details in the clothes and those boots.
Well, tell me, how does it feel?
I feel seen. It feels like a uniform. It feels just, I don't know, it feels important.
Fern and FCG share a cigarette.
In yours. Do you have an ear hole?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, my mother-in-law is an herbalist, and she and one of my sorry, it's so out of context seeing you. Never mind.
Just live a little.
I'm trying.
And they go with Orym to visit his mother-in-law, Nell, to request some of the blue flower ointment in case they get into any scrapes with the Vanguard's forces who use the poison. Orym introduces his friends to Nell, and upon meeting FCG, she says that she's only met one other person like them.
Well, I've only ever seen one other like you before, so...
What? Who? What? Where? What?
This is one of the Tempest's friends, travels with one.
Nell is referencing Dodie, the automaton companion of Taryon Darrington, one of Sam's characters in Campaign 1. Dodie was not sentient like FCG, but did sort of display like a wide range of emotions and responses to things, so seems to be like a bit more, I guess, advanced than regular automatons. Taryon built several versions of Dodie over the years as the automaton was like damaged or destroyed, and according to Tal'Dorei Reborn, Taryon is now on his 10th version of Dodie. If you haven't watched Campaign 1, but you want to see some of like Taryon and Dodie, I recommend watching the Darrington Brigade one-shot. It's really good. You don't really need to have known anything about Campaign 1 to enjoy it. I didn't when I watched it. Yeah, it's excellent. It's got some of my favorite characters in. Nell has some good advice for FCG about making their own decisions using their intuition rather than relying on the guidance of a god, and then she and Orym reminisce about Derek and Will.
The wonderful thing about Derek, and one of the reasons I fell in love with him, was he didn't always get it right, but he was always willing to admit when he was wrong and learn from it. He didn't always know the right thing to do. He didn't always know the right choice to make, but he still made a choice. And I know you miss him. Both of them. I know you know. I know how that feels.
He was a good son.
And I look at you. He still is.
Oh man, Nell. Let's go say hi.
And they go to visit their graves. Upon Derrick's, there is a breastplate placed on top, and next to it is Will's with his blade placed into the dirt. Orym speaks out to Derrick, saying, he thinks of him every day, and when he's trying to make decisions, he thinks, what would Derrick do? And he also sort of says goodbye, not knowing when he's going to come back to Zephril, or if he will come back at all. He then turns to face Will's grave.
Hey, you. I see you every night. So it's not as long a goodbye. It was really good to see you. When I did. Not the circumstances I would have imagined or welcome all the same. Gosh, honey. Oh. I'm doing this for you. But it's so much bigger than you and me. I'm scared, Will. I don't know if we can be enough. I know you'd be right here on the line with me. That helps. I'm gonna do our dad proud. And you. I know I'm just sort of blathering here. I miss you. I love you. And I'll see you soon.
God damn it, Liam! I knew that scene was gonna be rough, but... Nell takes them back for some biscuits and tea, and we cut over to Chetney, Imogen, and Laudna, who have a very different vibe going on. They head to a precipice on the western side of town where the Skysails depart from, and they convince the caretaker there, called Uli, to let them have a go. Imogen, though, wants to stay on the ground given her fear of heights, and as Laudna starts to depart...
If anything happens to me, promise me you'll move on.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Find somebody else, and Imogen's my girlfriend.
Oh! Snap! Wow!
As you say it, I crack her wrist back into place.
Thank you.
It's like that. Oh, I know the rough stuff. Nice.
Woohoo! And Laudna is out and about, although they don't tell any of the others, and surprisingly Chetney is very discreet. I'm wondering when they're gonna tell the rest of the group. The caretaker kind of extorts them out of 20 gold to give them a full Era Show experience. Laudna gets given the call sign Snappy Twig, Imogen gets Sunrise Sally, and Chetney gets I can't really do that sound. Snappy Twig goes first.
Goes into an immediate dive. Pull up! Pull up on the bar! Pull up on the bar!
I am a snappy twig!
Laudna is riding with Uli, but Chetney wants to fly at the same time, so he activates a Skysail by himself and takes off over the cliff.
Bounce a lion!
Okay.
Wait, you don't have to wear a suit?
Ah!
Yeah, he just went.
Laudna steers over towards Chetney and Imogen jumps off the cliff, casting Fly on herself. Catching up with Chetney, Laudna prestidigitates some sparks towards him, like missiles, and then Imogen joins in the fun. In retaliation, Chetney pulls out the horn of silent alarm and blows it towards Imogen.
Your ears are ringing with the loudest alarm.
And then he goes into a dive and almost crashes into a windmill. Uli tries to take Laudna back, but she casts a spell of bees into his face and continues to dive after Chetney.
You're pulled up, but you're also pulling downward. I need you to make a strength check as you've now taken control. You do not get the help from your trainer because you filled his head with bees. So this is only Laudna on this tug.
Natural 20!
If there was a time.
After some more shenanigans, they go back into land with Chetney crashing into a warehouse and taking 18 bludgeoning damage as well as some chicken pecking damage to his butt, and Laudna manages to land without crashing. Uli worked to earn that 60 gold, let me tell you. Like, he earned every dollar. This was such a dumb and silly scene. I honestly loved it. I was literally crying with laughter when I was watching it. This is sort of what I've been missing from C3 lately, just some, like, absolutely stupid shenanigans. We then check in with Orym, who also picks up his new outfit, a much less flashy affair than Ashton's, but still a very cool new look. I love the juxtaposition of like the hard lines of the leather with the soft nature designs. I think it's really awesome, and I think it suits him really well. The group reconvene and head to the Airy Eerie for a drink. Orym gives the barkeeper platinum and requests a good time for his friends, kicking things off with shots.
We're on a hard road, but not tonight. Not right now. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you survived.
Me too. To the victor go the spoils.
To the open skies.
Fuck chickens.
Fuck chickens.
Fuck chickens.
Fuck chickens!
But don't get caught.
There we go.
Fuck chickens!
The group chat about all kinds of things. FCG asks Ashton what it would take for them to have some faith in the gods, and he replies, basically nothing. And Chetney says that maybe FCG should become a leader of Aormatons, kind of create their own sort of religion or church or following.
Folks like me are becoming aware, are being risen or something. Maybe that points to some sort of movement or something like the rise of the machines.
Or the
Something's
brownies.
waking him up.
That's got a positive context to it.
You like the new... Yeah.
Rise of the machines.
Yeah.
Rise up.
Rise against it. Yeah.
At one point, Laudna slips away and reaches out to Delilah.
I'm gonna kind of just focus on the purples and the greens. Just gonna zone out for a minute. And then just under my breath, I'm gonna say, Delilah, are you still there? I felt a little pulse back in Asilra. So I'm just curious. All right.
Oh, phew, nothing to worry about here, right? Imogen comes to find Laudna and the two discuss Delilah and how she might be useful in the upcoming fight, but Imogen tells Laudna how she reached out to her when Laudna was dead and she wasn't really able to do anything, so maybe she wouldn't actually be useful. Imogen wonders if Laudna were to connect with a god, maybe they could push Delilah out, so with that in mind, they reach out to the Moonweaver.
Moonweaver!
Oh, Moonweaver!
What's your vibe?
Unsurprisingly, they don't get any response, and then they join the group to continue their drinks. As they're talking, Laudna feels a coldness creeping over her shoulder and a voice in her mind.
No matter who you pray to, no matter who you reach for, you are and will always be mine. And that's we'll take a break.
Delilah is officially back. What is it gonna take to kill this bitch? At this point, I am really wondering if we are ever gonna see the end of Delilah. Like, perhaps she will sort of be the reoccurring villain across the Critical Role multiverse. Is it gonna take, like, Laudna's death or something else? I mean, hopefully something else. Whilst I don't love the idea of Delilah sticking around forever, I am honestly a fan of this, like, added juiciness to Laudna's story. Like, Delilah is just such a good thread for Matt to have on Laudna as a character, and I think it will sort of, like, continue to add some really great narrative moments. I just had to come and tell you about today's sponsor, Gilman's Guide to Speed. Unlock the power of speed, the thrill of velocity, and the heat of racing with Gilman's Guide to Speed, a 250-plus page book of character options, mechanics for vehicle building, and rules for heart-stopping races for your 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game, now available to back on Kickstarter. The book includes 30-plus pre-made vehicles, 40-plus new spells, over 50 magic items, 4 brand new classes, and 12 new subclasses, plus backgrounds, potions, feats, monsters, and more. The book is already fully funded, and they have almost hit their next stretch goal, which will unlock dedicated racetrack maps in full color. You can choose your backing tier to get the PDF, hardcover book, or extra goodies including VTT bundles and dice sets like the Flux Gear Shift set. This Kickstarter is from our friends over at Only Crits, so you know that those are going to be some beautiful dice. Learn more and back today at the link in the description to bring the thrill of the chase to your next game. Oh man, I really gotta exercise more. After the break, they continue with their drinking. Laudna gives FCG the bag of drugs she got in Bastaress for him to bake into some brownies later, and Chetney starts waving around his sword, the Decadent End, which takes this opportunity to try and bring him on side.
Great wielder, majestic, wondrous warrior. I worry that you are being duped by a dubious leader. The one who calls this village her own. This voice. I think she is one of a few, a cabal, who seeks to bend this land of Taldore beneath their will. It would do you well to not trust her.
Chetney was under the influence here, so it will be interesting to see if Grazz'tchar's influence does take effect. We do see, like, the next day that he does seem to be, like, listening to him and taking that on board. And of course, the sword can, like, control the wielder. It can attempt to force Chetney to do what it wants, so we'll just have to see how that plays out. They head back to Orym's mother's house, Alma's, for a little backyard camping, and Fern drunkenly scries on Dancer. She sees Dancer, who is also drunk, in the streets of Yios with a mechanical bat-like creature on her shoulder and another automaton assistant behind her. With that done, they all fall asleep and take a long rest, heading to see Keyleth in the morning. She asks them to consider going to the moon for a reconnaissance mission, and I'm like, yes, exactly, that's exactly what you need to do, you need to go to the moon. And they discuss how they could get there, wondering if Imogen could teleport them there. I remember quite a while ago when they first saw the moon city through the telescope, we speculated whether or not a spellcaster could teleport there. It'll be really interesting to see if they attempt this option and like what will happen if they get a mishap on the teleport roll, or if they will try and just ride the beam up. Keyleth gives them some of the spare ointment and then agrees to come with them to Yios so that she can then transport them to the Shattered Teeth through a tree. The party then gets into another argument about which D they should go to, pointing out the Dancer might not want to help them at all given that FCG cut her arm off when Keyleth pipes in.
I can bring limbs back.
Is to... You what?
I can... If you have a friend who lost an arm, a leg, I can bring it back.
Hey, it's pretty helpful knowing a level 20 powerful druid sometimes. The whole time they're in this conversation, Grazz'tchar is whispering to Chetney, telling him not to trust her and that Chetney could save them all by taking her down. The others notice Chetney like acting a bit weirdly and confront him about it.
I don't trust it. You can just bounce around through trees.
What are you talking about, Ned? We've bounced
FCG,
through
make sure you
trees.
still have that little pouch of stuff, because this looks really familiar to me.
Calm down. You're making them think that you're acting irrational. Just play it cool.
I honestly don't see this sword storyline playing out for like too much longer, which is kind of disappointing because it's really fun. But since they know, or FCG knows that it has some like Demon Prince vibes, I feel like it's not gonna last for too much longer. So, ready to go to Yios? This time FCG casts Teleport using the staff, rolling a natural 1, which is again a mishap on the teleport table, and they all take 22 points of damage, and Sam rolls again, this time arriving in Yios, with Keyleth accompanying them in a disguise, sort of like to just make her look a little more like normal. No, like not a powerful druid. FCG casts Locate Creature to find where Dancer is, finding her in a boarding house of sorts. Imogen says that she will go up first to see her since Dancer has never seen her before, which is not true. Imogen and Orym both met with Dancer when FCG first wanted to reach out to apologize. In fact, I'm pretty sure Dancer has met all of them So they obviously just forgot about that. Imogen knocks on the door and convinces Dancer to open it, where she sees FCG and obviously freaks out. FCG asks for Dancer's help, saying that he can't move on until this chapter with her is closed. Dancer agrees to help, but also says,
Look, if you really came here asking for my help in whatever sort of godforsaken fucking savior mission you put yourselves on, I'll do what I can to help, but ain't nothing I can do to make you feel better about something that you've decided you're holding on to. Like, we've been done for a while. The only person that's hanging on is you. I know that sounds harsh, but you gotta fucking move on. Alright, yeah, we had some good times, and we had some real bad times. And maybe you have changed, maybe you found better people. The fact that you're still hanging around, knowing what he's capable of, says that you got a higher tolerance than I do. And with that, hats off to you, but look, I spent most of my life just trying to get from under the thumb of society and expectation and debts and manipulations and people just using you. And now we got a big old sign of the apocalypse glaring down day and night out here. So I'd like to spend the rest of my days here as long as we got them, drinking, fucking, and sleeping. In the interim, I help you how I can, but that's where it sits. If you decide to move on, that's something you gotta figure out. It's not my responsibility.
honestly, I am on Dancer's side for this. I think it was like really wild of FCG to be like, I need you to help me move on from this horrible thing that I did. I think it was very reasonable for her to respond in that way, and in fact very generous for her to even consider talking to him or helping him at all. So I think obviously I think Sam as a player would know that as well, but I think I like this story that he's sort of exploring with FCG, how FCG is sort of supposed to be like the therapist of the group, but is also like so naive and also not super aware of boundaries. Like, she already told him not to contact her again, and he still disrespected that. So I'm glad that she really stood up for herself in that moment, because it makes sense. Dancer takes a look at the funnel and says that Imahara Joe would be someone to help with this, and the group discuss how they would get there. Keyleth, who had been transformed as a mouse this whole time to remain inconspicuous, transforms back into herself, or like her obviously less like powerful self, and they head out to find a tree. While they're heading to where they know is a tree, FCG hears...
No!
So many birds. So many birds.
No!
Help me.
What the hell? Shithead is back? Shithead lives up to his name and shits on FCG's head. Imogen throws a rock at him with Catapult, and Fern casts Scorching Ray, and it hits the ground. Just like last time, it starts to come back to life.
Put it in. I'll eat it. I'll eat it. Put it in my stomach. I'll eat it.
Okay,
I can dissolve it.
Dissolve it.
Oh, I got acid in there, man.
Why do you have an acid in there?
FCG casts Identify on it, learning that it has a strong necromantic power, which is kind of obvious because it keeps coming back to life. Fern grabs it by the neck and casts Speak with Animals, asking it, what the fuck? And it basically says the same thing as last time. It just doesn't like FCG. But she does manage to get some more info out of it this time.
I once had a name. Gargo.
Gargo?
Gargo? God, I'd be angry too.
She called me Gargo.
She?
I know this has been kind of a joke storyline, but I think this bird's master has to have been from the Age of Arcanum, right? Like, maybe its master was the person that FCG was sent to assassinate, which is why it holds such a personal grudge against FCG. We did learn that the bird's master was a woman, and we know that FCG has also had a vision previously, like a memory of a kindly older woman. So I'm wondering if those two things are connected. Shithead lunges, or Gorgo I should say, lunges at FCG, and he casts Destroy Undead, forgetting that it does affect Lordna, but luckily she makes her save. And like, honestly, it probably wouldn't be a high enough level to work on her anyway. But with that, Shithead is gone.
I would probably flip the coin, and it spinning through the air would sort of cause a whirlwind of pure divine light that would sort of envelop and enwrap the thing.
Okay, as the light filters in, it swoops towards you right as it kind of lowers into its path, and as it hits, poof, there's a flash of white light and a burst of black oily feathers. And that's all that's left.
Well, that's done.
Cool.
Gargo, you'll be missed.
You did it!
It's gone?
Yeah.
You did it, FCG.
You destroyed Shithead.
You vanquished your nemesis.
Gargo.
Wow.
You overcome.
Gargon.
You overcome.
You overcome.
Are you okay?
I'm a little woozy.
I'm so sorry.
I wish they hadn't destroyed him because maybe they would have been able to get more info out of it. I don't know, like I just feel like there was the potential there. So with that underway, they finally find a tree and teleport back to Bassaras, and that is where the episode ends. I'm curious to see what the state of Bassaras is right now, being so close to the Malleus key site, and what might be happening at the Seat of Disdain, since the last time we saw it was during the epic fight with Odahan. Maybe they'll be able to get some intel there about what the Paragons Call and Odahan are up to. Now it's time for some theory time. It's been a while since we did some of these, but you all had so many great ideas about all that Ashton lore, so I just wanted to highlight some of them. Firstly, this comment reminds us about the two primordials, or titans. It seems like Matt's sort of been using those words interchangeably, that were contained with Mount Eugora on Dunamis. One of those primordials was the Emperor of Fire, and the other, the Empress of Earth. This person wonders if Ashton's parents during the Hashari ritual were pulling on the remnant power of the Empress of Earth, which is why Ashton became an Earth Genasi and has Titan blood. This commenter says that they think it's a personal quest for Ashton to find a way to unite the power of Dunamancy with the power of the Titans for a big boost in power, and that is a really fun idea. Ashton kind of going Super Saiyan on the battlefield. I would love to see that. Maybe Matt will give him like a feat where he could use like the enlarge spell or something. That would be sick. And I completely agree with this commenter that I don't think it's a coincidence that the Tree of Names crash landed in the Shattered Teeth, and now they need to find a powerful tree there associated with the Grazz'tchar who watches over the cycle of life and death, and with a name like the Tree of Atrophy, it's probably been severely wounded at some point. Well, we do know that the Tree of Names in Avalier was severely wounded by Laren's Blight spell, and it just feels too coincidental that we have a blighted tree and the Tree of Atrophy, when atrophy means like the wasting away of something. As always, let me know your theories in the comments, and if you want to revisit EXU Calamity, check out my recap series right here. Thanks for watching. Bye!